Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cleveland Stage Door. My name is Jimmy Davis, and we have another special one for you today. One of my favorite shows I've learned in the last year. They are coming back again, this time a part of the Broadway and Akron series. Please welcome Kathleen Cameron from Come From Away. Kathleen, how are you today?
I'm great, Jimmy. Thanks so much for having me. We're
I'm
so excited to come back to Ohio.
Yeah, and we were just talking. You were just here in Cleveland last August, part of the Keep Ain't Broadway series, and now you're coming to Akron, right down the street for the Broadway and Akron series. So it's very exciting to have you guys back. And you were here last year, and this is your second season with the show, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yep. It's been a great fun, and we're so excited to come to Akron. I've never been to Akron before, so you're gonna have to tell me all the things to go see and eat.
Yeah, that's so exciting. We have this really popular burger place. I'm not sure if you're a burger fan, but it's called Swenson's.
Okay.
It's right down the street from EJ Thomas Hall, so that's very exciting.
Post-show meal. Perfect.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's open late, so that's perfect. So Come From Away's coming to EJ Thomas Hall March 25th and 26th, 2025 to finish out the Broadway and Akron series. Kathleen, let's talk about your character. You play Bonnie Harris, the animal loving SPCA worker in the show, and she rescues, I believe, what was it, 21 animals off the airplanes. Is that correct?
19 animals.
19. Oh,
Yes.
I was close.
And she's based on a real woman named Bonnie Harris who still works at the SPCA in Gander, Newfoundland. And when 38 planes are diverted and landed at Gander Airport, she knows that there are probably animals in there. So she takes it upon herself to find them and rescue them from the holds in the airplanes. Yeah, it's a great story.
And so how did you prepare to play Bonnie? Like it's a different kind of role to play an actual person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have not had any contact with the real Bonnie Harris yet. A bunch of us in the cast have a dream to go to Gander after we finish out the run with the show. So I would love, of course, to meet her and see the SPCA in person. But a lot of it just involved research about Newfoundland and learning the dialect and just really focusing on the show. And I really love the character of Bonnie. She's so funny and she's so stubborn, and she is very different from myself in that she is not a people pleaser, and she knows that it's important to rescue those animals, even though everybody says it's not safe to go in and find them and everything. There's a lot of moments of humor between her and her husband Doug. So I really enjoy those moments. And Come From Away is a really wonderful show to be a part of.
And I was gonna say she kind of brings that like comedic relief in
Hmm.
some of the tense situations in the show, and that's a
Yep.
really needed part. And you were talking to SPCA in Gander. I read that they recently completed a new shelter in Gander
Yes.
and that was a project that Bonnie's been working on for the last 5 years. With it playing all over the country and all over the world, have you noticed any kind of differences in the audience reactions based on location?
Ooh, yeah. We've had a few fun differences. Definitely when we've played for audiences in America versus Canada, the Canadian specifics kind of go over Americans' heads. They went over my head too, as an American. But when we played in Canada, they got everything. We mentioned Tim Hortons, we mentioned Shoppers, which is kind of like CVS, but a little more souped up in Canada. Just so many things Canadians really got. And We played Columbus, Ohio last year, and there's we mention that one of the animals that Bonnie rescues, a bonobo chimpanzee, is transported to the Columbus Zoo. And as soon as the word Columbus escaped our lips, the audience went, so it's really fun. The show there's a little bit in the show for everybody, no matter where you are on the continent of North America. There's laughs, there's tears, there's amazing music. I'd say there's something in it for everybody. But yeah, it's been fun to see how different audiences respond to it differently.
So tell me this, what makes Come From Away such a unique and powerful musical compared to other Broadway productions?
I would say that Come From Away is so special in that it is it embodies the magic of theater in that there are 12 people on stage, 14 chairs, and we tell the story of thousands of people. Our band is on stage and they play Newfoundland music, which is kind of like a cool Celtic folk influenced music, which I had never heard before seeing it on Broadway. So it's very different, like musical experience than most Broadway shows. And we all play lots of different characters, and ultimately the story is about the power of being kind to a stranger, which is a message that I think everybody needs now more than ever.
So, like, how is it that you guys are able to, like, there's one part that really pulls at the heartstrings of everybody and that is, when it's kind of given throughout you could tell throughout the show, like, it's coming that one of the cast members loses a part of their family in the show. How is it that you guys are able to separate that from real and from stage, like, be able to separate that each night, be able to portray
Yeah.
that each night?
Yeah, I would say there are certainly emotional moments of the story and of the show. But I think kind of the magic of Come From Away is that it's balanced out with really uplifting, lighthearted, inspirational moments as well. So I wouldn't say that it's a sad show. I would say it's overwhelmingly
Hmm.
an uplifting
Hmm.
show with moments of
Absolutely.
yeah. And I would say that we were directed by our director Danny Goldstein. Um, that the emotional experience is for the audience. It's not for us. So it's our job to tell the story and just be focused on what we want, what our characters want, um, and about telling the story truthfully and allowing the audience to have the emotional reaction to that. So at least for me, also, I don't really carry that big of a load in terms of like emotional weight. I get to talk about animals and be funny. Um, but I would say that the show is really a joy to be a part of. And it's really meaningful to know that it touches the audience as well.
Absolutely. And has there been any, like, crazy stories? Like, I just heard about a story about how it rained during one of the productions, and then
Yes, yes.
and so tell me more about that story, because I heard little snippets of that story. Can you tell me a little bit more about that one? Because I
Yeah,
found that very interesting.
yeah, this was one of my favorite experiences doing Come From Away. I think it was last August. It was right before we came to Cleveland last year. We played the Kansas City Starlight, which is an outdoor venue in Kansas City, Missouri, and the stage itself is under an overhang roof, but the audience is all outside. And we were there for a week, and every day there was a different thing, because this was our first outdoor venue. So like one night there was like a flock of geese flying overhead. Another night there was like a train that was passing by, just different things. And the very last night, the whole week up leading to the last night, we were saying, "Oh, thank goodness it's not raining. At least it's not raining." Well, cut to closing night, and it is raining. It's pouring rain throughout the whole show, and the most of the audience stayed and sat in their seats in their ponchos, just in the pouring rain. Um, that was a really I got really emotional that night because I was just really touched that so many people sat in the rain to watch the show. Um, and Come From Away is that kind of show. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Hmm.
it was so fun. But I also appreciate playing inside where we don't have to worry about rain most of the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about you real quickly. So
Sure.
you have not really a hidden talent. You have a large following on TikTok that I came across, and your hidden talent, not so hidden talent, is you play the recorder, and you have over
Yes.
200,000 followers on TikTok. How did you find out that there's a hidden, like, niche of people on TikTok that love the recorder?
Yeah, this is my little fun fact that I pull out at dinner parties when the conversation's really getting dead and we need to liven it up. Um, in 2020, during the pandemic, when I was, inside and searching for something to do, I was cleaning up my childhood bedroom and I came across a plastic recorder and I said, "Well, I have nothing else to do, so I'm gonna teach myself how to play this." So I just started posting silly videos playing the recorder on TikTok, and I turns out there are a bunch of freaks on TikTok, and I made a whole community. I met other like legit like recorder players. Like there's this incredible lady who went to Juilliard for recorder playing. But
Wow.
mostly it's like mostly other like elementary school music teachers that I've, become friends with. And yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
it's it's great fun. And in the show, we have a woodwind flute player in Come From Away named Logan who plays a recorder in addition to other things. Of course, it's a beautiful like wooden recorder and it sounds way better than the plastic one that I play.
Amazing. That is so great. That is so great. So let me ask you this. Let's finish this off. What is one thing that, if you could go back from, I don't know what show number you're on now, but I just saw recently you celebrated 300 shows. If you could go back to show one, what is one thing you would tell yourself? Like, what's one piece of advice you would tell yourself back on show one that you
Oh,
wish you had known?
that's a great question. And actually, I think it's either tonight or tomorrow night we're celebrating 400 shows, which is
Wow. That's mind blowing.
wackadoo. Yeah, yeah. And this is by far the most performances of a show that I've ever done. This is my first tour. I've never been in a show that has run this long. And I'd say as far as shows go, I think this is like the most amazing show to do 400 times. If I could pick any show, it would be this show. Um, I think I would say take it easy. Don't stress. Just say the words and tell the truth. Um, Come From Away is all about just being real and being truthful. It's not about being sparkly or being fancy. And I would say just trust in that and remember where you put your chairs because we move chairs around the whole show. Just remember where the chairs go and tell the truth. I would say those would be my pieces of advice.
But not least, if there's one character in Come From Away that you could play, who would it be?
Ooh, I really love, we talk about this all the time in our cast of like, who else would you want to play? I think I would want to play the role of Bob. He's a New
Ah,
Yorker who, being raised in New York, he's not used to strangers being kind to him. I mean, New Yorkers have a very specific way of being kind, but not in the way that Newfoundlanders are. And so he starts out the show really suspicious of the kindness that the Newfoundlanders are showing him. And by the end of the show, he's raising money to give back to the Newfoundlanders. I really love his arc, and he's also a very funny character. So I think I would love to play the role of Bob.
love that. I love that. So, Kathleen, thanks so much for joining me. This was so great. Come From Away is going to be at EJ Thomas Hall March 25th through the 26th. 2025 tickets are available on playoffscore.org. Personally, I love this show. It's such a great show, and it's such an emotional roller coaster. There's a fish song that's in the show. There's crying in the show. There's laughter. There's so much. There's every emotional like tug in this show, and there's something for everybody, and it's real. Like, it's all real. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, and especially for like the people between like ages of like what 25 to like older, it pulls you because you know it what happened. Like, you remember where you were on 9/11 and where you were in those times, and you think back of what, even if you were too young to really remember, you remember where you were that day, and it's just a reminder of what people actually went through on that day. So
Yeah.
it's a fantastic show. So
And I would
come
say
from
it's also oh, I'm sorry. I would
no,
also say
go
that
ahead.
it's that Come From Away also offers like a different lens on that day that is so
Hmm.
dark for all of us who remember. It's a way of reminding us that there is still light in the darkness for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much, Kathleen. I really appreciate it. Once again, Come From Away, March 25th through the 26th, and here is a special preview that the Playoff Square sent us. And enjoy, Kathleen. Thank you so much again.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy.
Take care, y'all.